Errol Flynn. Errol Flynn was the embodiment of Hollywood's golden age charm, a swashbuckling hero who seemed larger than life. His on-screen charisma, however, was only a fraction of the man he was behind closed doors. Flynn's private life was a whirlwind of indulgence, scandal, and secrecy. By the early 1940s, his reputation had already begun to unravel, with whispers of his insatiable appetite for pleasure spreading through the industry. He faced allegations involving relationships with much younger individuals, which led to a highly publicized trial. Though he was acquitted, the details that emerged painted a picture of a man who lived recklessly, driven by his desires. Flynn's hedonistic lifestyle extended beyond his relationships. He was known to host extravagant parties at his Mulholland Drive estate, where the boundaries of propriety were often blurred. His fascination with youth and beauty became a defining feature of his personal life, earning him the infamous phrase, "in like Flynn." What many don't know is that Flynn's behavior wasn't just about indulgence. It was a calculated rebellion against the constraints of Hollywood's moral facade. His life was a paradox, a man celebrated for his heroism on screen, but haunted by the consequences of his private choices. The truth about Flynn's life forces us to question how much of Hollywood's golden age was built on carefully constructed illusions. Behind the glamour, there was always a darker story waiting to be told. Clara Bow. Clara Bow was the original It Girl, a symbol of the roaring 20s and the epitome of youthful exuberance. Her rise to fame was meteoric, but her personal life was far more complex than her carefree on-screen persona suggested. Bow's private life was a subject of endless fascination and speculation, with rumors of her wild escapades dominating tabloid headlines. She was said to have hosted parties that blurred the lines between celebration and debauchery, with guests that included athletes, actors, and socialites. The trial involving her secretary revealed personal aspects of Bow's relationships and lifestyle, showcasing her unapologetic approach to life. Bow's relationships were often tumultuous, marked by passion and intensity. She was rumored to have had connections with both men and women, a fact that was considered scandalous in an era when Hollywood was desperate to maintain its image of moral purity. Despite the controversies, Bow's legacy as a trailblazer for women in Hollywood remains undeniable. Her life was a testament to the complexities of fame, a reminder that the stars we idolize are often far more human than we realize. The next story takes us even deeper into the shadows of Hollywood's golden age, where a comedic genius hid a far darker truth. Charlie Chaplin. Charlie Chaplin was a pioneer of cinema, a man whose comedic genius revolutionized the art of storytelling. Yet behind the iconic image of the little tramp was a man whose private life was riddled with controversy. Chaplin's relationships were a source of endless scandal, with his preference for much younger individuals raising eyebrows even in an era when such behavior was often overlooked. He entered into marriages with individuals significantly younger than himself, raising both legal and moral questions. His second wife, Lita Gray, later described their relationship as deeply troubled, revealing a more complex side to Chaplin's private life. Chaplin's preference for younger companions extended beyond his marriages, with reports suggesting he sought relationships with aspiring actresses. These revelations were not just personal scandals. They were a direct challenge to the carefully curated image of Chaplin as a lovable, innocent figure. His private life became a public spectacle during a paternity suit in the 1940s, where intimate details of his relationships were laid bare for the world to see. Chaplin's story is a stark reminder of the duality of fame, a man who brought joy to millions while leaving a trail of pain and controversy in his wake. The next figure in this narrative takes us from the world of comedy to the realm of unapologetic rebellion, where boundaries were meant to be broken. Tallulah Bankhead. Tallulah Bankhead was a force of nature, a woman who defied convention and reveled in her own audacity. Known for her sultry voice and magnetic stage presence, she was a star who lived as boldly off-screen as she did on it. Bankhead's private life was a whirlwind of indulgence, marked by her unapologetic embrace of both men and women as lovers. She once famously claimed to have slept with hundreds of people, a statement that shocked even the most jaded Hollywood insiders. Her relationships were not just numerous, but also daring for the time, as she openly pursued same-sex partners in an era when such behavior was considered taboo. Bankhead's hedonistic lifestyle extended beyond her romantic escapades. She was a regular at Hollywood's most exclusive parties, where excess was the norm and discretion was a rare commodity. Her appetite for pleasure was matched only by her wit, as she often joked about her own exploits with a candor that left little to the imagination. What many don't realize is that Bankhead's behavior wasn't just about rebellion. It was a deliberate rejection of the rigid moral codes imposed by society and the film industry. Her life was a testament to the power of living authentically, even in the face of judgment and scandal. Yet, for all her bravado, there was a vulnerability to Bankhead that few ever saw, a reminder that even the most fearless stars carried their own private burdens. The next figure in this narrative takes us from defiance to a world of calculated ambition, where control and desire collided in ways that shocked even Hollywood. Joan Crawford. Joan Crawford was the epitome of Hollywood glamour, a woman whose rise from humble beginnings to stardom was as dramatic as any of her films. Yet, behind the polished image of a screen goddess lay a private life filled with complexity and controversy. Crawford's relationships were the stuff of legend, with rumors of her affairs spanning both genders and including some of the most powerful figures in Hollywood. Before her meteoric rise, she was rumored to have appeared in risque films, a fact that the studios worked tirelessly to bury as they crafted her image as a leading lady. Crawford's appetite for control extended to her personal life, where she was known for her intense and often tumultuous relationships. Her adopted daughter's memoir later painted a picture of a woman who was as demanding in her private life as she was on set, though the accuracy of these claims remains a subject of debate. What is less known, however, is Crawford's connection to Hollywood's secretive social circles, where stars gathered to indulge in pleasures far removed from the public eye. These gatherings were a stark contrast to the carefully curated image of Crawford as a paragon of elegance and sophistication. Her life was a study in contrasts, a woman who could command a room with her presence while hiding the complexities of her true self. The next story takes us into the life of another icon, one whose allure transcended gender and whose private life was as captivating as her on-screen performances. Marlene Dietrich. Marlene Dietrich was a woman ahead of her time, a star whose androgynous appeal and magnetic presence captivated audiences around the world. Her private life, however, was even more fascinating than her on-screen persona. Dietrich was known for her fluid approach to relationships, engaging in affairs with both men and women at a time when such openness was virtually unheard of. Her lovers reportedly included some of the most famous names of the era, from Gary Cooper to Edith Piaf, a testament to her ability to transcend traditional boundaries of attraction. Dietrich's allure was not just physical, but also intellectual, as she often formed deep emotional connections with her partners. What many don't know is that Dietrich was a regular at Hollywood's secretive sewing circles, gatherings where stars could explore their desires away from the prying eyes of the public. These events were a stark contrast to the glamorous premieres and parties that defined Hollywood's public image, offering a glimpse into a world where the rules of society were temporarily suspended. Dietrich's life was a delicate balancing act as she navigated the demands of fame while fiercely protecting her private life. Her story is a reminder that even the most glamorous stars carried secrets, ones that revealed the humanity behind the legend. The next figure in this narrative takes us deeper into the shadows of Hollywood's golden age, where the line between public persona and private truth was often blurred beyond recognition. Ramon Novarro. Ramon Novarro was one of the most celebrated leading men of the silent film era, a heartthrob whose charm and talent captivated audiences worldwide. Yet, behind the polished image of a matinee idol lay a man whose private life was shrouded in secrecy and tragedy. Navarro, a devout Catholic, struggled with his sexuality in an era when being openly gay was not only taboo but could destroy a career. He was known to have discreet relationships with men, carefully hidden from the public eye to protect his reputation. What many don't realize is that Navarro's private life was not just about secrecy. It was about survival in a Hollywood system that demanded conformity. His relationships were often fraught with risk, as he navigated a world where trust was a rare commodity. One of the most shocking aspects of Navarro's life was the way his fame intersected with his personal struggles. He was rumored to have been gifted a scandalous object by a former lover, a detail that would later resurface in the most tragic chapter of his life. Navarro's story is a haunting reminder of the pressures faced by stars who lived in the shadows, forced to hide their true selves to maintain their careers. His life was a delicate balancing act, a man torn between his faith, his desires, and the demands of an unforgiving industry. The next figure in this narrative takes us from the shadows of secrecy to the unapologetic boldness of a woman who refused to play by anyone's rules. Mae West. Mae West was a trailblazer, a woman whose wit, charm, and unapologetic confidence made her one of the most iconic figures of Hollywood's golden age. Known for her double entendres and sultry persona, West was a master of pushing boundaries both on and off the screen. Her private life was as bold as her public image, with rumors of her romantic escapades becoming the stuff of legend. West was said to have had relationships with men and women alike, a fact that she never confirmed nor denied, preferring to let the mystery add to her allure. What many don't know is that West was not just a participant in Hollywood's secretive social circles, she was a pioneer. She reportedly hosted private gatherings at her home, where the elite of Hollywood could indulge in their desires without fear of judgment or exposure. These events were a stark contrast to the carefully curated image of Hollywood as a bastion of moral virtue, revealing a world where the rules of society were temporarily suspended. West's life was a testament to the power of authenticity, a woman who refused to conform to the expectations of her time. Her story is a reminder that the stars we idolize are often far more complex than their public personas suggest. The next chapter in this narrative takes us into the life of a woman whose beauty and talent masked a private life filled with turmoil and intensity. Vivien Leigh. Vivien Leigh was a star whose beauty and talent made her one of the most celebrated actresses of her time. Best known for her roles in Gone with the Wind and A Streetcar Named Desire, Leigh's on-screen performances were matched only by the drama of her private life. Behind the scenes, Leigh struggled with mental health issues that often exacerbated her relationships and personal choices. She was known for her passionate and often tumultuous affairs, which were fueled by her intense personality and insatiable appetite for connection. What many don't realize is that Leigh's private life was as complex as the characters she portrayed. Her marriage to Laurence Olivier, one of the most famous unions in Hollywood history, was marked by infidelity on both sides, with Leigh reportedly engaging in numerous extramarital relationships. Her behavior, often described as eccentric during her lifetime, was later understood to reflect personal struggles with her mental health, which were not fully recognized at the time. Leigh's story is a poignant reminder of the human cost of fame, a woman whose brilliance on screen was matched by the struggles she faced behind closed doors. Her life was a delicate dance between the demands of her career and the complexities of her personal life, a narrative that forces us to question how much we truly know about the stars we admire. The next figure in this exploration takes us even deeper into the hidden lives of Hollywood's golden age, where the line between public image and private truth was often blurred beyond recognition. Charles Laughton. Charles Laughton was a master of his craft, an actor whose performances in films like The Hunchback of Notre Dame and Mutiny on the Bounty cemented his place as one of Hollywood's greatest talents. Yet, behind the scenes, Lawton's personal life was far more complex than his public persona suggested. Married to actress Elsa Lanchester for over 3 decades, their union was one of Hollywood's most peculiar. While the couple maintained a public image of marital harmony, it was widely rumored that Lawton was secretly gay, a fact that Lanchester herself alluded to in her memoirs. What many don't know is that Lawton's private life was marked by a deep sense of inner conflict. Living in an era when homosexuality was not only stigmatized but criminalized, Lawton was forced to suppress his true self, leading to a life of secrecy and discretion. Lawton's relationships were said to be fleeting and carefully hidden, often involving encounters with younger men. These liaisons were reportedly facilitated by trusted friends and associates who ensured that his private life remained out of the public eye. One of the most shocking revelations about Lawton's life was the extent to which he went to protect his reputation. It is said that he lived in constant fear of exposure, a fear that shaped many of his personal and professional decisions. Despite his immense talent and success, Lawton's life was a poignant reminder of the sacrifices made by those who lived outside society's rigid norms. His story is one of quiet resilience, a man who carried the weight of his secrets while delivering performances that continue to captivate audiences to this day. The next figure in this narrative takes us from the shadows of secrecy to the bold defiance of a woman who refused to conform to Hollywood's expectations. Katharine Hepburn. Katharine Hepburn was a force of nature, a woman whose intelligence, wit, and talent made her one of the most celebrated actresses of all time. Known for her unconventional style and fiercely independent spirit, Hepburn was a trailblazer who defied Hollywood's expectations at every turn. Yet, behind her carefully crafted image as a strong, independent woman, lay a private life filled with complexity and intrigue. Hepburn was famously private about her personal relationships, but rumors of her romantic entanglements have persisted for decades. While she was publicly linked to Spencer Tracy in one of Hollywood's most iconic love affairs, many believe that their relationship was far more complicated than it appeared. What many don't realize is that Hepburn's private life was marked by a series of close, intense relationships with women, a fact that has been the subject of much speculation. Biographers have suggested that Hepburn's true romantic inclinations were far more fluid than her public image suggested, with some claiming that she had long-term relationships with women that were carefully hidden from the public eye. Hepburn's refusal to conform to traditional gender roles extended to her personal life, where she lived on her own terms, unapologetically and without compromise. Her story is a testament to the power of authenticity, a woman who refused to let societal expectations dictate her choices. The next chapter in this narrative takes us into the life of a man whose private struggles were as compelling as his on-screen performances. Spencer Tracy. Spencer Tracy was one of Hollywood's most revered actors, a man whose talent and charisma made him a legend of the silver screen. Yet, behind the scenes, Tracy's personal life was a far cry from the polished image he presented to the world. Married to Louise Treadwell for over 4 decades, Tracy's marriage was anything but conventional. While the couple remained legally married, they lived largely separate lives, with Tracy engaging in a series of extramarital relationships that were carefully concealed from the public. One of the most fascinating aspects of Tracy's life was his long-term relationship with Katharine Hepburn, a romance that has become the stuff of Hollywood legend. Yet what many don't know is that Tracy's private life was marked by a deep sense of guilt and inner turmoil. A devout Catholic, Tracy struggled to reconcile his faith with his personal choices, leading to a life of quiet conflict. His relationships, both with Hepburn and others, were said to be intense and passionate, yet always shrouded in secrecy. Tracy's story is a poignant reminder of the complexities of human nature, a man who was both deeply flawed and immensely talented. His life was a delicate balancing act, a man torn between his public image and his private desires. The next figure in this exploration takes us even deeper into the hidden lives of Hollywood's golden age, where the line between public image and private truth was often blurred beyond recognition. Rudolph Valentino. Rudolph Valentino was the ultimate heartthrob of the silent film era, a man whose smoldering looks and magnetic screen presence earned him the title of the Latin Lover. Women across the globe swooned over him, and his films, such as The Sheik and Blood and Sand, solidified his status as a cultural icon. Yet, behind the carefully curated image of a romantic idol lay a private life that was far more complicated and far more scandalous than his fans could have imagined. Valentino's personal relationships were the subject of endless speculation, with rumors swirling about his sexuality and his insatiable appetite for romance. What many don't realize is that Valentino's private life was a whirlwind of passion and secrecy. He was married twice, but both unions were short-lived and fraught with controversy. His first marriage to actress Jean Acker ended almost immediately, with Acker reportedly locking him out of their hotel room on their wedding night. The marriage was later annulled, fueling rumors about Valentino's true desires. His second marriage to costume designer Natasha Rambova was equally tumultuous, with the couple separating after just a few years. Beyond his marriages, Valentino was rumored to have had numerous affairs, both with women and men, a fact that was whispered about in Hollywood's inner circles, but never publicly acknowledged. One of the most fascinating aspects of Valentino's life was the way he navigated the rigid moral codes of his time. Despite the constant scrutiny, he managed to maintain his status as a romantic icon, even as his private life remained a source of endless intrigue. Valentino's story is a reminder of the pressures faced by stars who lived in the spotlight, forced to balance their public image with their private truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and comment. Also, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell to get notified of our newest videos. Thanks for watching.